Do you want to know what the difference between longevity and projection is? Do you want to know how to make a fragrance last longer? Do you want to know how to store your fragrance properly? Do you want to know what the difference between an EDT, EDP, intense, extrait, the difference between all that? What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Johnny Sense here, back with another video. Man, you already know we lit. Today, we got a special one for you guys. I want to make this video answering some questions, especially for some of y'all beginners out there. Some of us want to learn about fragrances or want to guide and show other people some knowledge, just so when they buy a fragrance, you know, they don't just blind buy and buy something that they just completely hate. Come join me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and answer some of these questions, and let's get straight into it. All right, so question number one is going to be longevity versus projection. Now, longevity, think about how long it's going to last. Now, if a female comes up to me and she says, "What's your longevity?" I'm going to tell her straight up 1 hour. But in reality, we all know it's going to be anywhere between 5 to 30 minutes. When it comes to fragrances, longevity pretty much means how long it's going to last on your skin. So there is a difference between longevity and projection, in the sense that projection is what you are emitting or you are casting out. Longevity, when it comes to certain fragrances, can last anywhere between, your cheapest cologne can last even maybe 30 minutes to an hour. But I would say most colognes, eau de toilettes, which is what most people usually buy, especially at your local rack room store, your TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Burlington, those kind of stores, it'll probably last anywhere between 2, 4. Maybe if you're spending 50 bucks, 40 bucks, you just might be lucky and hit that 5, 6 hour mark. Obviously, when you're buying at the Macy's, these new fragrances are becoming a lot more expensive, and they are expensive for a reason. They're using better material, better scents, modernizing things, using more naturals. So therefore, that's why it's more expensive. Now, projection's pretty cool. I would say when it comes between the two, it all depends on you. When it comes to fragrances, at the end of the day, it becomes all on you. You're the one who makes the decision. Do you want to be the kind of person that when you walk in the room, you just want to project and throw out this big old cloud of smell that just like Rocky Balboa, like freaking knocks you out? Or do you want to be like, you know, that smooth criminal like Michael Jackson and just come in there incognito, not like thinking you smell too much? But when people, you know, catch a whiff, they're like, homie, smell good. Or do you want to be the ninja, the person that, you know, wants to smell nice? You personally, you don't really care what other people think. You probably don't even want to hear them say anything. So you probably rather just be like a personal soft scent kind of person. So maybe you just want more of an intimate kind of scent, you know what I'm saying? So those are kind of the differences when it comes to projection. I think longevity is what matters to most people, because even when you're down at the dry down, you know, you probably want to smell your skin or whatever you sprayed on, and sometimes it won't be projecting that much. It'll be at the intimate level at that point, a skin set, what some people call. So you'll just kind of like dig in there with your nose and try to smell it. And if the longevity is pretty good, you shouldn't be sniffing too hard. All right, question number 2. How can I make my fragrance last longer? So everybody usually has different methods and tricks. I've seen anywhere between using fragrance oil sprays into your goddamn ironer, you know what I'm saying? And you'll just use the steam whenever you're ironing your shirt, pant, or whatever to make it last longer. But if you want to try it out, I might, if I'm in the mood. But for me personally, hydration is a big factor. So I have somewhat sensitive skin, and my skin also dries up pretty quickly. So I'm an ashy dude, kind of. I need to make sure that I'm always lotioned up. Unscented lotion is probably your best. I've been into the goat's milk, pause, but that one's been feeling really nice, like some almond, goat's milk, vanilla sort of scent. So that's what I'm rocking with right now. Hold up. This is what I use. If you can see that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, body lotion, goat's milk, and honey. Almond vanilla. So obviously there's some scent going on there. What I usually do, I'll take a shower in the mornings or in the night, depending on who you are. But if you're about to apply fragrance, I do suggest that taking a shower beforehand is best. You just scrub off any other scent that might be still lingering around, or maybe you were at a cigarette place like a bar, or you know, just work or something, sweat, who knows. But you smell fresh and clean, you know, at the shower. You dry yourself really nice, you know. And then yeah, so then when you're drying up, you know, I get out the freaking shower, straight to it, and I just put on some lotion, you know what I'm saying? As I'm putting on lotion, you know what I'm saying, I'm putting on my clothes. Afterwards, you know what I'm saying, I'm still like doing my hair, fixing it up. So by that time, the lotion is not super oily on my skin. It's already kind of been absorbed. That's when I kind of usually apply my fragrance. You take a shower first, make sure that I'm fresh and clean out the shower. Then I put on some lotion. And that alone, usually whenever I put on my fragrance, put them in the pulse points where you're heated up. Sometimes I'll even put it on my armpits. They say put on fragrances in warm areas for it to like smell and emit longer. I put it in my armpits and it definitely works. This is why it's important not to spray fragrance when you're dirty, because whenever you're sweaty on your armpits and you got some kind of sweaty, stinky armpits, you know what I'm saying, smelling that sweat stink mixed in with a nice fragrance isn't the best of smells. So also watch out for that kind of stuff. But in essence, yeah, that's usually what works out best for me. That's usually kind of when I get my best results when it comes to fragrances. If I'm looking for longevity and projection, when I'm testing and writing notes and stuff, I usually make sure that I'm showered and I have lotion and I'm hydrated. So drink water, see like your skin is drying up, you know, try to make sure that you got some little lotion, travel lotion with you, you know, always try to keep yourself hydrated. And yeah, I mean, let me know if there's anything out there that you guys can prove and know from experience. Definitely let me know in the comments below. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, the next one I'm gonna do is gonna be, how do I store my fragrance properly? Now this one's a pretty simple one. I used to be one of those dudes that used to have cheap cologne from Marshalls or whatever in my middle console. I don't do that anymore. I used to have one in the console where the airbags are, or I can't think right now, but you know what I'm saying, the passenger seat, the little cubby that's right there where the air filter is, that bad Larry. I used to have one there. I don't do it anymore because I know that if your fragrance is in very, very warm, higher than room temperature, essentially 75 degrees Fahrenheit conditions, then your fragrance is more than likely expires sooner. It will change the smell of it. Think about it like this: fragrances are usually chemicals. It's mostly made out of chemicals, aroma chemicals. Depending on the temperature, you know, those chemicals can always fluctuate and then have different type of results. Keep that in mind in a scientific way. Other than that, I've kept it in the bathroom as well. I've heard that that's always not the best because your bathroom might be super hot due to, you know, enclosed doors, when you're taking shower, the steam, those kind of things might also affect it. Researchers highly advise that you store it in a room temperature cool, if possible cooler than that, dark area. You don't want much light hitting it because, you know, even lights emit some sort of heat. So there's going to be a little bit of heat. So just keep it in a nice cool area. Right now I have it in my closet. It's not the best of space, but as of right now I have it in my closet. I keep the door closed so little light comes in there. Yeah, that's what I highly suggest for you guys to do if you want to store your fragrances properly, make them last longer. And especially when it comes to maceration, which means pretty much, especially when it comes to some of these Arabic or cheap colognes out there, you want to give it some time after you release some air, after a few sprays, to let the fragrance evolve a little bit more for it to get to its highest potential. Fragrances in general will always do that. I've had a Burberry for like 5 to 8 years, maybe even more. I don't even know when I got that sucker. I still got it though. It's like Burberry for men. And I mean, I've had that guy macerating for so long, that thing's almost syrupy coming out. It's crazy. But yeah, that's what I suggest for you guys to store your fragrances properly. And then last but not least, we shall talk about the differences in EDTs, EDPs, etc. You've perhaps heard of words of cologne, eau de toilette, eau de parfum, parfum, eau de parfum intense, elixir, extrait. So the difference between those, let me try to make it really quick. So cologne is going to be your weakest performing fragrance. It's going to have only of the actual oil of the fragrance, I believe about 2 to 5%. Other toilets are going to have 5 to 10% of the actual oil. Other parfums will have anywhere between 20 to 25. Parfums will have anywhere between 25 and 30. Elixirs will have 30 plus, and I believe extraits are higher than that, more concentrated. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information, so I don't want to give you guys false numbers. Fair use, do your own research, but it's around that ballpark, and you guys kind of get the gist of it. Colognes, I don't really buy. I don't have much knowledge on them. I don't really care about those. I want something a little bit better performing, so the weakest I'll probably get is what usually most people encounter, eau de toilettes. And they're usually the most mass appealing because before a fragrance becomes an eau de parfum, parfum, elixir, or anything else, most companies start with toilettes. It's like the beta trial. These has to do with sometimes longevity and projection. Fair use as well, because sometimes you'll get a parfum that's supposed to be a lot more oil and thicker, more depth and dense, and it'll still crap out. Be after 4 or 5 hours, the longevity's gone and you can't really smell much. So keep that in mind as well. Don't think that, oh, just because it's an elixir or an extrait de parfum, meaning that it's got almost 50% oils in it, that it's gonna be beast mode or last super long. Not always. Always depends on you and your skin type. Not to offend anybody by any means. We're all beautiful and special in our own ways, but for that particular reason, that's why we do these type of videos, to give you guys knowledge, for you guys to choose what's best for you. Maybe your skin likes eau de toilettes and it goes beast mode, vice versa. Who knows? Keep that in mind as well. Eau de parfum, me personally, is probably my favorite, just because you get a little bit of best of both worlds. You get a little bit more dense. It's not super light and soft as the eau de toilette. It's usually in the middle ground between parfum and eau de toilettes, which most companies usually go. Elixir is now becoming super popular. That's why you're seeing them a lot more, because people also like longevity and projection. And for the most part, elixirs and extrait de parfums, and most of the time, sometimes parfums will get that job done. Therefore, extrait de parfums are crazy. They have been performing probably the best under my skin and probably for most people's skin. But if you have tried extrait de parfums, then you will probably understand that it is so strong. But some of these colognes and maybe even some of these niches, because it's just so dense and so much oil in there, you can't even smell it up close until maybe a few hours, or once it gets down to the dry down. So strong for those first 2 hours. I mean, that guy, for the most part, at least the ones that I've had, pushing. So keep that in mind. You don't want to get a headache. You don't want to get allergies. Fragrance can be overbearing, and that's usually when people do not like fragrances. I think the general public can agree that we don't like overbearing fragrances, and we like just the right amount of level for us. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the difference between those type of fragrances, eau de toilettes, eau de parfums, etc. Hopefully this video was informative and good enough for you guys. I'm trying my best out here to give you guys the best content out here. I love you guys. Be safe out there, and can't wait to see you guys on the next one. Peace.